Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews. Have you ever wondered what games you should sell or you should use? Find out here at Purge Reviews. Find out on our top 10 list what games you cannot miss. Don't forget to subscribe to Purge Reviews.
What Dinosaur Island can kind of look like on your board. This part up here is going to be used by all the players. Then each player will have a lab and a place to place their part, if you will. I'm going to try to go through each phase of the game, kind of show you how it works, and then hopefully it'll all fit together. The first thing you're going to do to win the game is you're going to have these objective cards. You're going to have a number of these based on the players. You will see some will have medium game, short game, and long game, depending on how long you want. So let's take a look at what some of these will do. An example of a long one: reach a security level of 13. Earn $15 from patrons in a single round. Help 12 dinosaurs in your park. A short one might be create dinosaurs of 2 different species. Or another short one, earn $9 from patrons in a single round. And a medium one could be reach a security level of 10. So a lot of these are the same, they're just less, and you get a number of victory points if you fulfill them. The way this works is, let's say you had 3 of these in a game. If you fulfill one, you'll put a marker on it. If nobody else fulfills it that round or at that moment, then you'll be the only one that can do it. And when there's only one left that hasn't been completed, you know that's the last round of the game. It can still be completed, but the round will end either way. So this is how the game will trigger the end. Where we're going to start our journey here is at phase 1, and you'll be utilizing this board. One interesting thing to note is that these dice that come with it, you get a number of them, even though you may only use a small portion of the game, but each of them are different. So your experiences or what's available in resources will be different depending on which die you use. So the first thing you'll do is you'll roll these dice, and you can kind of put them right here underneath these hexagons or octagons, and you'll utilize those for the turn. You will also have a herbivore, a small carnivore, and a large carnivore that's available each round. In my version of the game, you're going to have these little beakers that have 1, 2, and 3 on them that will represent the scientists that you will utilize. In turn order, players will put these scientists down either under a die, on a defense cold storage, or on one of these 3 spaces right here to utilize the power. Now these 3 require either 1, 2, or 3 level scientists in order to take it. The rest of them are variable. If you put one underneath the die, then you get to raise your DNA by whatever die this is. In this case, an advanced green. You might also have a blue or 2, etc. So depending on what die that you take, you'll be able to raise that amount here in your DNA lab. So if you got 2 of these, you would go all the way up on that track. The increased cold storage, now in this case I used a 3, then what I get to do is increase my capacity for one of my DNA labs. Maybe I might go up 2 on this one and 1 on this one. That choice would be me to equal the number of scientists' power that you used to initiate the cold storage. The last one is to take one of these. So if you want to take one of these, you have to have at least a 1, here at least a 2, and here at least a 3. And you just take this, whatever dinosaur this may be, and you would add it to your park. It just has to cover up 2 spaces. There's no other additional cost to it right at this point. You would just put the paddock inside of your park area. Here is where you'll be utilizing phase 2. This will be the market phase. Keep in mind, anytime in the market phase that you don't want to take an action, you can pass and get $2. Every player in turn order will take an action until each player has taken 2 action or passed. Now, you have a few options you can have here. You'll see the $2 range, the 3, the 4, and the 5. The first thing that's available to you is to get more DNA. You pay $2 to get any 2 of the basic DNA, $3 to get 3 of the basic DNA, $4 to get 1 of the advanced, and pay $5 to get 2 of the advanced. That is one thing you could do. Or you can take one of the specialists. This one costs 2, 3, 4, 5. The price is always the same going left. And you just take the specialist and you add it. Now, most of the specialists will give you an extra worker that you can utilize in the 3rd phase, and then a little power that you can do. Usually, unless something breaks the rules, you can only have 3 specialists at a time. If you take a 4th, you have to replace one, losing all previous bonuses. So if it gave you a worker, then you would lose that worker. But keep in mind the new one may give it right back to you. The other thing you do is take one of these, which are the research lab upgrades. And these will do different things, usually giving you additional powers. In this case, increase your security level by 1 at no cost. So I can utilize this space in a 3rd phase, placing a worker on it, and increase my level. Now, if I want to do it again, I could, but it would require 2 workers this time. So Dino Security can do really well. You will post your Dino Security in this area of the board. You have 2 under construction, and after that, you can just put it over something if you want to. And this will go right on your main board. In addition to that, you have these options that you have here, which will cover up their spaces and make these better actions. This will actually create a dinosaur and then refine the DNA. This upgrade allows you to do it 3 times using 3 workers, or refine DNA allows you to take that action 3 times. This one will cost $3 and this one will cost $5. So those are lab upgrades that you have. The last option you have is to buy new attractions for the park. In this case, a roller coaster or a stuffed dino, dino burger, or a shot glass. These will give you victory points. In this case, the cost for this would be 7 plus the 3, so this would cost $10. This one does not give you any victory points, but it does allow you to put 3 patrons on here. Whenever you take one of these that give you food, it can be good for a victory point or $2 when you get to that spot. If you look at the stuffed dino, it costs 9 plus the cost of the spot, but it gives you 5 victory points, but no other place for patrons to go. After everybody has done this, we'll move to phase 3. Phase 3 is where you're going to utilize your workers on this board. And you'll be able to take one of your workers, depending on where you want, and put it on a space, then gain the power. So this one allows you to refine your DNA, which takes your basic DNA and creates it into advanced DNA over here. So a lot of times people get the basics easier and getting the advanced a little bit harder, but this is a way they convert the basic into advanced. If you wanted to place here, you could create a dinosaur. So if I had this paddock on my board, I have to give up this signifying of DNA, and then I would be able to put a dinosaur meeple on here. This one can only have 1 unless I upgrade it. It would increase my excitement level 3, gives me 7 victory points per dinosaur I have this on the end of the game, but it would also move up to terror level 2, and I'll explain all that to you in a moment. The paddocks, when you upgrade them, allows you to hold more dinosaurs. In this case, I can hold 1 dinosaur. If I was to pay the $2, I could upgrade it to hold 2, or even upgrade it further, $3 to hold 3, and then 4 would be the maximum that you have. And you would just set this right here, and it tells you can hold 3 dinosaurs. At this spot, you can also increase your security. You'll see when you want to increase your security 1, it will cost you $1. But you get down here, it will cost you 4 and then $5. You just track it with this. If you get over 10, you can put a marker here and go as high as 20 if you want to. Now this spot right here is your threat marker. So anytime you see those little dots, anytime you see these little dots on the side and you put a dinosaur there, you will increase your threat level up. And that tells you how much security you need to have. So in this case, if my threat level is 4 and I have 7 security, I'm going to be okay. But when we chose dice at the earlier, any dice that doesn't get used, you would look through those dice and find the one with the most pips. And if, in this case, if these 2 dice were not used, this one has 3 and this one has 2. So we know that for every player on the board, we will be adding 3 threat to whatever is here. So in this case, my personal threat level of my park is 4. So adding the 3 would be 7, so I would be safe. But if my security was only at 6, and I knew the threat was going to be 7, I'm in danger of letting some of those dinosaurs out of their paddocks. And this option lets you collect money. There's all kinds of different ways to manipulate this. And you will utilize your workers to do things in order to get your bonuses that you so choose. And here you have the 4th phase. And what you're going to be doing here is getting your patrons. People are going to want to come to your park set in the Jurassic world. So what you'll do is, based on what your excitement level is, you will draw that many people from the bag. You can draw all patrons like I just did. So let's say I drew these 3 out of the bag. I drew a hooligan, which is purple, and patrons, which are gold. So what you would do is you would line these up at the entrance of your park. For each patron, you get paid $1. The hooligan doesn't give you any money because they are jerks and don't pay. They sneak their way in. And then you would start filling up your park. So let's say I had one dinosaur here. And so what I could do is I could put one of my patrons here, because for every dinosaur I have, I can put one patron. And I would have to put one patron out on this. Now, hooligans always get placed first. They take up the space. And that's important because right now, you're going to score 1 victory point per patron that's out. Not for the hooligans. In this case, I would get 1. But if I would have had a dinosaur here also, then I could have played this. And even though I would have made the same amount of money, I would have scored an additional victory point. Now, the only caveat here is this part of it. So if the threat level was higher than my security, then I would have to eat 2 people. See? 2 spots, 8 minus 6 is 2. And they would always eat your patrons first. Hooligans never get eaten. So in this case, if that would have happened, I would score 0 victory points because of the hooligans. And once again, you're going through the game and you're hoping to be able to get to the point where you're accomplishing the objectives but have the most victory points. At the end of the game, you will score victory points, $5 for each coin that you have. In addition, you will score victory points for each dinosaur times how many victory points is worth. So in this case, I had 1 dinosaur here, and he is worth 1 victory point. But here there were 7 for each one that I have. So he would be worth 7. But if I had 2 there, it would now be worth 14. You would also score the points that are listed on the objective cards. Whoever has the most victory points wins the game. So let me show you what you're going to do in the solo variant. In the solo variant, you're going to draft a number of these objectives. In this case, score 8 victory points in a single round. And you're going to try to accomplish these as quickly as possible. If you score an objective in the first round, you're going to get 10 victory points. In the second round, 10, and so forth, and so forth. If you accomplish an objective each round, at the end of the game, you get an additional 10 victory points. So you want to try to score these objectives as quickly as possible in order to maximize your points, but also if you accomplish 1 per round, then you'll be able to get, or at least 1 per round, get to 10 extra victory points. Otherwise, the game kind of plays the same, other than you'll be having this AI deck, and at the bottom, you'll pull one out each round. It will tell you what to get rid of, the 1 and 2 dice. You can't buy the herbivore this round, and so on. The $2 one of this will be gone. The $5 of the specialist will be gone. So it'll try to take some options away from you as you're playing. Solo variant is one where you're just trying to score the most victory points and beat your score every time. Otherwise, the game pretty much works the same way, except there's going to be 22 patrons and 3 hooligans inside the bag. And once someone is eaten, they are gone forever, never to return. So the bag will become smaller and smaller as time portrays. But it is a very fun solo variant if you don't mind the beat the highest score type thing. As for Kickstarter components, I have these fantastic. These are some of the best money. There's only 10 5s and 1s. I wish there were 3s, but there's not. You can see they kind of look, they say Dinosaur Island on this side. But on this side, they're really painted and bright. I really like, I can't tell you how heavy these are and how good this coinage is. The regular ones are just cardboard. This is definitely worth the upgrade. In the base game, you just get 1 type of dinosaur. In this one, you'll see there is a ton of different little dinosaurs that you can get. Brontosaurus, the Stegosaurus, Triceratops, T-Rex, Pterodactyl. There's some Velociraptor. There's a lot more than just this. But there's a wide variety. So each pin that you have will look different. In the base game, this isn't available. I believe this is just a Kickstarter exclusive. The dice are designed to look like amber. If you remember from the Jurassic Park movie, it's very cool. In addition, each die is different. They're not going to have the same size. So depending, you can choose it randomly, or whatever. But these are big, chunky dice, and they look really, really good. I don't believe those are stickers. They're put on there pretty good. I don't think they're going to go away. The cardboard in this is really good. The tracks that you have here all are indented, so you don't have to worry about this being shaken. Your cubes aren't going to move once they're in here. You'd have to have some pretty big moves to get them out of there, so it's very much appreciated. The cards are good quality. Now, the look of the game, the color of this game has come into question quite a bit. It works great. Everything is bright. It looks good. It's not an overuse of that pink. The dinosaurs are pink. You have a little bit of pink there, but the rest of it's very color. Some of this doesn't match too great, so the purple, and it looks more blue on the die, doesn't match up. You can definitely tell what they're going for. but it doesn't match up. I kind of wish this would have had been different icons on the DNA instead of just a DNA string. There is different shapes on here, but it's kind of hard to tell. It totally won't trip you up. I just wanted to point it out. The scoring board is nice. This does take up a lot of real estate on the board. It is quite big, so be aware of that. You're going to need some table space. Dinosaur Island. I got the deluxe edition through Kickstarter, and I can't tell you how pumped I am. I love Jurassic Park. Like all the movies, like Jurassic World, not too keen about the new trailer for the 5th movie, but I'll live. Super excited to get... Wait, this isn't Jurassic Park, the board game? Yes, it is. They may call it Dinosaur Island, but what these guys have done is put Jurassic Park inside of a box. Have to admit, I love it. The touches are there, from the amber dice to the artwork that really brings you in. I mean, John Hammond's on that card. You got the dinosaurs and the paddocks, and they're going to get loose if your security isn't high enough. And they will chomp, chomp, chomp on your patrons. People paying to be there. They definitely won't get those hooligans running around in the movie, that's for sure. I have to tell you guys, I love worker placement. I love this game. I like the economics of it, that money, that currency. It's so tight in this game, but there's plenty of it, but you got to spend it to do everything. I love that. This game has a lot to offer. It feels like Jurassic Park. So let's talk about it. The theme. This game lives and dies with its theme. If you like the dinosaurs, you're in. If you like Jurassic Park, you're in. If you like that 90s nostalgia, the colors are there, everything pulls you in, you will like this. It's a very, very, very strong addition to your worker placement, Euro, fun, Ameritrash, hybrid game collection. This one hits it in spade. Now, the worker placement side of it, I'm not as crazy about. There were a lot of times where I felt like, I wish I could have had more of those labs. Like, I had too many workers. So, going at that usual strategy you have of going out and getting more workers may not be the solution here. There were a lot of turns where I had workers, but really nothing to do with them. Not enough to do. The game gives you an option of playing a short, medium, or long game. Highly recommend the long. If you really want to play the game and you really want to feel it, play the long version. I was able to play a 2-player medium game in about 30 minutes. The game plays pretty well, 2 players. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I don't think there's a whole lot of downtime because so much of the game is going to happen simultaneously. And those decisions that you're making with the other players are short. You got 3 scientists you can put down, so that worker placement part of it goes pretty quickly. Then you have the market phase where you're buying the cards and stuff. There's a lot to look at. That might bog down, but I didn't really have any problems because those things are open information. You can look at them the entire time, and people were doing that. You need to keep focusing on that. If you have somebody who has in your group who has a lot of analysis paralysis, it can bog it down just a little bit. Not the worst case that I've seen of it, but I don't know. I don't want to play 4-player with anybody who has analysis paralysis, and maybe that's just me. But there is quite a few things in the market to look at one time, and a few things to kind of look at your board and do. And there's some math in it. You know, I need this DNA recipe for this dinosaur, and I'm going to need this much DNA. I got this. I can convert that. No, wait, I won't have enough workers. I got to go back and kind of redo all the math in my head. It has some of that, but you can expect that with a Euro game. Now, I feel like this is a strong addition of the game. How does it fly without the theme, though? That's what you're going to ask me. Well, what if I don't like the theme? How am I going to like it? It's still a pretty good game. I still like it even without the theme, I suppose. That's just kind of what you're doing. There's 4 phases to the game, and they do feel like 4 different games almost. You have the little worker placement with the scientist where you're kind of getting the DNA, getting some free DNA, adding up, getting the paddocks in, getting your capacity higher. Then you have this market stage where you're getting specialists, you're hiring people, maybe you're getting some more DNA, some lab upgrades, or maybe some things to put in your park, like attractions, like maybe a French fry hut or something. And then you go back into the worker placement, but you're just kind of doing your own board. So it's almost like Manhattan Project in slow motion, where you have like this board everybody's playing to and you're getting stuff. And then you have your board where you're doing it. So those decisions where you're making the worker placement with everybody else is now dictating what you can do on your little board. And you're getting things and hopefully upgrading. Then you're going to go to the part where you're just randomly drawing patrons from the bag. And this is the part where the Euro players probably aren't going to be so crazy, because there's hooligans in there, and they do bad things. And basically, you're not going to get any money or victory points but they're going to be the first person to all your attractions. So you can kind of get hosed on that a little bit, where you're just kind of getting, they're coming out and you got them all. So the next 5 people that are drawing, there's no more in the bag. So I don't know if that's going to happen a whole lot. Shake your hand a little bit better while you're in there. Don't pull out a handful and then count them. Get one over there. So that pulling from the bag may pull off some Euro purists, but I don't think they'd be playing this game anyway. This game is definitely a hybrid between the Euro and the Ameritrash kind of gaming system here. So what you're going to find is a very thematic game, but in a Euro universe, and it works pretty brilliantly if you ask me. I really feel like I'm playing Jurassic Park. I really feel like finally this is the dinosaur game for those that like their games on a little bit of a Euro partial to that. There have been a lot of people that have commented about the artwork. I feel like that's overblown. They did use some pinks and maybe some of those neon colors in this game. I don't think it detracts from anything. If you're colorblind, the symbols of the DNA do have different shapes in them, not just different colors. Although some of the colors on the dice don't exactly match on your player boards, I don't feel like it's a huge problem. If you really just think the game is garish and ugly, there's nothing I can do to convince you otherwise. To tell you, but I think the pinks is what's driving that, and the pinks are really stuck to the dinosaurs and some of the specialist cards. And I really think it makes the game look beautiful. I wouldn't want every game to look like this, but the fact that this one looks like this, I'm pretty happy with that 90s nostalgia look that they're going for. And I actually think they did a very good job. Probably isn't my preferred one. I like the deep reds and greens that they use from Jurassic Park, but I can understand for licensing purposes they're trying to stay away from that, and I can respect that a little bit. I'd much rather have a better game than use my preferred colors. If I'm going to get one version of this game, you definitely want to get the deluxe version. Even though the different dinosaur meeples that you get really play no part in the game, it is much cooler to have those. And the money in this game is probably some of the best money that I've ever seen. The components you're going to get in the deluxe version, I feel like, money withstanding, is probably worth the extra price. I mean, if you're really pinched for cash, I think the regular version is going to do just fine, but I would prefer to have the deluxe version in this case. And I'm going to go ahead and recommend that deluxe Kickstarter version. Track that version down. It's not always worth the extra money, but I feel like in this case, it probably is going to be. I must say, though, it's going to be very hard to get everything back in the box with a deluxe version. If you're going to do the deluxe and you want the box to firmly be down, you want to be taking out some of that. Because when the deluxe version, you get the Kickstarter exclusive stuff and the basic stuff. So you're going to get the new coins and the old coins. You might want to take some of that old stuff out of there. Probably get rid of the insert and press everything down. Mine closes about halfway. I'm looking for a foam core insert, so hopefully we'll have one of those pretty soon to show you where this game can be a little bit better organized. The components are fantastic, actually. I like how the cubes stick down into it. Unlike Terraforming Mars, where you shake it and everything is lost, there are little holes in it where the cubes will be able to stay where you want them to be. And that's a really nice touch. I mean, that's a very... Pandasaurus is just knocking out of the park with their components. And a lot of game companies should take notice of just how much care they're taking into their games, because it is a grand slam, no doubt here. Overall, I have to say I highly recommend this game. This is one you're going to want to add to your collection, no doubt about it. If you're a fan of all of Dinosaurs, Jurassic Park, this is the one to get, guys. This is the one we've been waiting for. Support this one. I paid my own money for this one. I got it on Kickstarter, and I'm telling you, if you want games with good components, strong themes that are fun to play, we have to support games like this. And this is one that you really should support, and let them know that you want more games printed with this quality and this much care given to them. Absolute fantastic game, and I really hope you enjoy it. Come back and comment and let me know whether you liked it, you didn't like it, or if I was dead wrong. A couple of things negative I do have to say about it is the rulebook. The rulebook is really, really, really good. The rulebook does a great job of teaching you a rule, showing you an example. Teaching you a rule and showing you an example. But the 4 phases of the game really don't flow that much. Once you play the game once or twice, you kind of see, okay, this is how everything fits together. But they're kind of disjointed. Now, I don't mind that. I don't mind taking it because the game is worth it. But it doesn't have that flow to it that a lot of games have. So when you go from phase to phase, I'm like, okay, stop. I'm going to do this kind of thing. Whoop, I'm going to stop and do this. Imagine there's an Olympic event where you were running, a 400-yard dash, and then you sat down and see who couldn't move for the longest amount of time. And then you had the giant jump race that they have, and then you say who could beat third level of Zelda or something. Like, it just feels disjointed like that. It doesn't bother me, but it's something to mention. The solo game that's included in this is actually a fairly strong solo game. I enjoyed it quite a bit. It's one of those where you have to beat the points is what you're going for. You're going to have a solo variant where you're going to be looking at certain objectives, and you want to kind of beat them as quickly as possible. You're going to get more points the quicker you beat them, but you also want enough to beat one each round so you can get the 10-point bonus and see how you can maximize your points. Now, when I'm playing it, well, heck, I can't strategize that much. I'm just getting it done when I can get it done and if I can get it done. So, but the solo game is really strong. I feel like the gameplay is pretty good between 1 and 4 players. The solo game uses pretty much all of the original rules with just a few minor adjustments and components because you need to do that to have some kind of AI in the game. But I think it's a strong solo experience. So even if you're going to be stuck playing by yourself sometimes, I think this is a game that you would really enjoy doing so. So I'm going to recommend this game even for the solo experience. Thanks for watching the video. I really appreciate you tuning in. If you liked it, please like it and hit that little subscribe button. That really helps out the channel. Lets us know that you're getting the videos that you want. If you agreed or disagree with what I said, feel free to comment below. I'd love to hear what you have to say, and I promise that I will comment back. Thanks for watching, and everybody else, keep playing games.